everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. It is a pleasure to be at Santa Anita, truly the great race place as we prepare for Breeders' Cup 2023, but we've got some business to get to first. The DRF Wednesday race of the day for November the 1st. It's the 7th at Delaware, and it's a pretty salty allowance of 3/4 of a mile. Let's take a look at this field. Pirate Rick is a bit of a mercurial horse, Mike. Sometimes he runs some really fast races, and sometimes he doesn't show up at all.
Yeah, his good race is going to make him really tough in here, though. We are talking about a race, though, Dan. I think he's obviously a really good fit in this field, especially if he shows up ready to run. But, man, he lands in a race here with a lot of other pace that he might have to deal with early on, and that's his running style. He wants to be on the lead.
Mike, you're learning. It's a perfect segue into our Timeform US pace projector, where you see the pace is hot and you see that Pirate Rick, the number 5, is among the 3 main speeds in this race. And I won't argue the fact that the number 1 Hollywood Jet is on a run and gun from the inside. Yeah. Sir Wellington's shown some speed. I'm a little concerned about his current form. Hollywood Jet might be the biggest early danger to Pirate Rick.
Yeah, I mean, Pirate Rick, if he gets out of the gate this time, then it was an issue for him in his most recent start. But if he breaks well in here, he's going. Hollywood Jet drawn to the rail here, a fast horse. He is going. I did think Sir Wellington could be part of this pace. He's second off the layoff now, so maybe he's a little bit sharper in this race. So this pace, you know, it really looks like it has the potential to get pretty fast.
Hollywood Jet made his first start for a new trainer most recently, and it was a really good performance. Let's take a look at this allowance event at Parks, and he caught a wet track, and it really seems he likes a wet track recently. He was also able to get to an easy, uncontested opening quarter, and he was able to sprint on home. There are no easy leads for him here. If he's going to do it, he's working hard from start to finish.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see if that win last time when he got to the lead on a wet track, if that sort of springs him forward again. I mean, there was a span, you know, into early last year, Dan, where this horse won 7 races in a row. He was in really, really good form. He's won for 8 since then. That win did come in that most recent start on a wet track. He's got to go from the rail. There's plenty of pace to his outside.
A horse that is licking his chops when he's reading the Timeform US pace projector is the number 2, No Sabe Nada, and he's one of my favorite allowance horses on the Mid-Atlantic circuit. Let's take a look at his most recent start. This hulking allowance runner, Delaware certified little stakes race, turning back in distance, got the right setup, ran him down. He's very versatile. He wins around 2 turns, he wins around sprinting, but for him it's all about setup. He's going to get it here.
He is. He's supposed to have a pace in front of him here. He's a horse who can certainly rate and run. We've already seen him do that several times. Cut back to get the win last time with a solid figure. I mean, I thought he was actually pretty easy to make a case for in this race.
Sir Wellington chased one of the Mid-Atlantic's fastest sprinters in Lightning Larry 2 and 3 starts back, Mike, and I was a little bit concerned that they gelded him recently, and then they ran him last time out in an allowance race after a kind of poor effort in the De Francis Dash where he pushed the pace and he was the first one to give way. And last time out, he kind of gave way tamely again.
Yeah, maybe some of those stakes races are a little too tough for him. He was off the layoff last time. I kind of like him second off the layoff in this spot. I mean, going back to earlier in the year, he had 4 straight races with 90+ buyers. Figures they're going to make him really tough in this race. He's also a great price on the morning line. I don't think you can argue with him being 8-1 against this field.
Now, while No Sabe Nada is the closer with proven form, Runaway Jack is a horse coming in with good form and a nice amount of upside potential. Here's the last race for the lightly raced 4-year-old. He came from off the pace at Delaware to win a second-level allowance, and this horse should be brimming with confidence. He has won 3 races, and I love that Mac Robertson is just taking his time, putting him through his conditions.
I like that about him too. I mean, it's a horse who's, you know, obviously shown up and run well in all 7 starts so far. He settled for second in the first 4, but now he's won 3 in a row since then. He's obviously headed in the right direction. He's slightly raced enough to project even more improvement, but this feels like he's moving up into a really tough allowance race here.
You mentioned the issue with Pirate Rick last time out. He had a little bit of an issue coming out of the gate, and when that happens and he doesn't get to his accustomed forward position, he doesn't run his best. 2 starts back, he went to the front, he ran his best, but he also got away with a little bit of unpressured situation up front. This time, at least he draws outside the other speeds. Is this the kind of horse that can sit at least in the clear, not behind horses, but in the clear and be successful?
I suppose that's a possibility for this horse. And again, we know he's good enough to win if he pulls the right trip in here. You mentioned his win 2 starts back. He looked good that day, but he did get loose on the lead. Last time was a totally different situation, bumped between horses at the start, got away towards the back, never had a fair chance in there. I'll forgive him for that one. I don't know how much I really trust him though.
We've seen this before from David Jacobson with the 6, Spun and Won, taking horses with back class and claiming them for pretty steep prices. This horse was in for 62.5 last time out in an off-turf race, coming off of a little stakes placing at Monmouth Park.
Yeah.
And as we take a look at Spun and Run, he was very game to win. And while No Sabe Nada might be a true closer and Runaway Jack a true closer, this guy's a stalker that might get the first jump on those horses.
I thought he was going to get the right trip in this race. I like this win from him too. I know it's on a wet track. He's main track only in here, Dan, but he is running down a pretty good horse from George Weaver's barn. I like that he just got that horse at the end of that race. I thought that was a good performance. His overall form's rock solid. He's a great price on the morning line. Could be a good trip coming here.
3's Over Juices, the number 7, is just one of my favorite horses on the grounds because you got to time it just right. 20 seconds and 10/3, many of them by very short margins.
Yeah.
And when he does win, he doesn't win by much. It's almost as if he wins by accident. Sometimes he has a little bit of hang in him, but it's worth noting. He's had a couple of wins recently, and he's getting Lasix again after being overmatched in the De France's. He's pace adaptable.
Yeah, another horse who was probably in too tough last time. 2 back on this track. He just got there, as you mentioned, with an 89 Beyer speed figure. He can run very effectively from off the pace. He's supposed to have a lot of speed in front of him here. I mean, I thought this horse was a contender. I can't say that I love him.
The number 8 is Chicks Dig Scars, and really who doesn't? Here's the horse who won a second level allowance race on July the 2nd, coming from just off. But this was a really nice trip and ride. The speed went, this horse sat very nicely, came to hand, made the front, went about his business. He's very competitive from a Beyer speed figure standpoint. Breaking from the outside though, I wonder if he's got to be kind of hustled to get into position because he's not a true closer.
Yeah, he's not. I kind of felt like he was a horse who could be pace compromised as well here, but we'll see if the outside draw allows him to just fall into a pretty good trip. Overall, he's another horse who's very consistent. I'm not sure that his best race, if everybody else shows up with their best race as well, I'm not sure his is good enough. I didn't really want to knock him too much, Dan, but I don't want to bet him either.
Let's take a look at our top selections in this race, and you like Jacobson off the claim.
Yeah. I just think this horse fits really well in this race from a lot of different angles. I don't know if he'll really be the 6-1 on the morning line, but that seems like a very fair price to me in a wide open race here.
3's Over Deuces again is a horse that maybe you don't trust that much, but he should be a good price at this race at 6-1 on the morning line. I think he gets the right setup. He gets some weight off with a very capable young apprentice in Martino Rojas aboard. And boy, Gary Capuano's been winning races in bunches lately. Mike's going Spun and Won. I'm going 3's Over Deuces. We're excited about the Breeders' Cup. Good luck.